I was reading this great book today. It's got a great title. It's called Corporate Con Job, How the Mainstream Media Aids the Oligarchy. Now, you're an aggressive progressive fan. You know exactly how that works, how the mainstream media goes from being the watchdog of the powerful to the guard dog of the powerful to the attack dog. He saw it firsthand. So I just read the first chapter, and fantastic, by the way. It's exciting to relive that time. So you talk about when you saw Bernie in New York City, and what was that like?
Yeah, I'm not old enough, but it was kind of like Woodstock without the drugs. There actually were some drugs, but it was Washington Square Park. Very conservative numbers, 27,000, but bigger. A lot of people said there was 40,000 with people outside the park. And yeah, it was surprisingly not just angry, old and white. Young, old, white, black, Latino, Asian, you name it. And there was a real, to me that day was like the first day, like there was that like hope in the air, but it wasn't like that Obama bullshit hope. It was like hope.
It was actual hope.
And it was really a special night. And it kind of, you know, I'm a journalist, so I try not to get my emotions in, but I'm human, so like I was overcome. And the next morning, I turned on CNN. And
So tell us, you elaborate really well in the book about, so you were there, you saw firsthand the coming together of all kind of people who were actually committed. They knew Bernie's policies. It wasn't about personality. It wasn't people they were coming out for the right reasons. And then you saw how the mainstream news media covered that same event. How did they do it?
Well, Carol Costello on CNN said, well, you know, it was mostly NYU students and Occupy Wall Street people. And I was like stunned because, number one, does CNN have some like revolutionary Insta poll that you could just go through 30,000 people and like they're hobos from Occupy or hippies from NYU? And secondly, she wasn't there. But this, I say in the book, like this was the first of many. You want to say Kellyanne Conway's alternative facts, because it was 27 to 40,000. It was young, old, white, yeah, maybe some NYU students, but it was the corporate media in their ivory tower in New York, in DC. These people do not get out to speak with actual people and progressives. They bring on pundits who basically are in business with the same oligarchy keeping you down. So in chapter 1, it's all about how the corporate media basically burned, B-E-R-N, Bernie. And I really try in the book to give you behind the scenes. I do name names, Jake Tapper. I have an email in there that Jake sent me wanting to talk off the record. As I go in the book, I'm releasing it chapter by chapter instead of one finished product. I don't have time to like write a full book right now. Joan Walsh is in there, Joy Reid, obviously Standing Rock I'm doing a couple chapters on, Flint, East Chicago. We're going to talk about you and me having martinis in Cleveland at the RNC. And I hope people will read it and share it. It's kind of like a pay whatever you want per chapter. And it's exciting for me because I need hope too. So I've been watching a lot of the old videos and like reliving the moments.
You mean the old videos of Bernie and stuff like that? Yeah. Well, you know, the mainstream media not only, you know, aids the oligarchy. I mean, in many cases, they are the oligarchy, meaning, you know, they're the plutocrats. They're the people with all the money. I mean, how are we supposed to get the news when the guy who owns the news paper of note, the Washington Post, is worth $80 billion? Do we really want 80 billionaires? I'm sure he doesn't have an agenda, the 80 billionaire. I'm sure he wants everything that's good for working people. And that's the paper of note in America. So it's completely corrupted. And then they hire people and pay them into the plutocracy. Like, you know how much people make at MSNBC for even. And that's just a cable station. And they're making $30,000 a day. It's real easy to get you to go along with the oligarchs if they give you I would do it. If you give me $30,000 a day, I would say whatever the fuck you want.
Well, last night is a perfect example. Yeah, it's not the U.S., but the U.K., there's a progressive uprising in the U.K. I turn on the TV to try to find the results, anything, and all I have is the play-by-play of James Comey's spit, his tweet, everything from that day. There is zero mention of a progressive candidate that the media in the UK and America declared dead, null and void, basically causing a hung parliament. So that's just one example. I just interviewed Nina Turner. She had an example. She was on CNN the other day. She's talking about the people in Flint don't care about Russia. It was like you stole their Christmas tree.
Yes.
Their faces went like pale. So, yes, they are part of the oligarchy. I'm actually writing the Trump chapter right now. And I'm not writing it from how everybody else in the media writes it. I'm explaining how the corporate media welfare industrial complex delivered Trump. Because you have Viacom, you have General Electric, Comcast, all these mega multi-billion-dollar conglomerates that seized control of the media, partially because of our friend Bill Clinton in 1996, the telecom regulation, and they basically, Les Moonves of CBS said it best. Donald Trump is terrible for America, but he's great for CBS. So they brought you Trump. It wasn't me, it wasn't Jimmy, well, it was Hillary Clinton too. But so the book kind of talks about the business things, because you can't just take on the politicians if you don't know the other forces against you, which is the media.
Yeah, so you're talking about how, it's so funny you bring this up, because in the cab on the way here today, we were talking with the cab driver about how not only did the Democrats, meaning Hillary Clinton, prop up Trump, meeting with the Pied Piper, and then their minions who just are stenographers in the news media, even the left news media, just repeated what she wanted to have said, so they elevated Trump, but they made Trump a star. For years, he was a birther, right? Going around in a racist way, hounding our president. NBC gave him a frickin' show. And NBC propped him up. They're like, yeah, it's cool if you're a birther. It's cool if you are racist against the press. Don't worry about it. We'll give you a national television show because you get views. But then when he becomes president, they point the finger. And we've heard that recording by Les Moonves, who said exactly what you said. That's why it's so exciting to read your book, because we really do live in an oligarchy. That's not us making it up. That's Paul Krugman, the biggest Hillary supporter in the world, will freely admit that we live in an oligarchy. And now we know, because of the Cambridge study, that that's been proven academically that we do. So this book is a lot of fun. Where can people go to read the book?
Yeah, so I'm releasing it chapter by chapter. Go to truthagainstthemachine.com. I have a tab for corporate con job. The introduction, the chapter 1 is out right now. I'm working on the Trump chapter. The final chapter will be inside who Jimmy Dore is. So be prepared for that. That's gonna be big. And my goal is to put it all together at the end as a traditional book. But I just wanted to get it out now, so I'm doing it in real time.
Hey, if you enjoyed this clip of Aggressive Progressive, why not become a member of the TYT network, and you can watch the whole hour. You know, we do a show every Thursday, and then you can watch it live when it happens as a member, or you can watch it later at your convenience, because you get access to the podcast of Aggressive Progressive and other ways to get a hold of it. There's lots of stuff. Come become a member at tytnetwork.com/join.